How do I fix that, Tom?
What?
This. It won't let me. Is this a scheduled chart? Let me go view it on Facebook real quick. Every single time. Every time. Why is it doing this to me? I think I know more.
Okay.
Yeah. There we go.
See us on Facebook yet?
What was that?
Do you see us on Facebook yet? I have not.
Oh, there she is. There we go. See, it's right here. Why isn't it? Oh, there it is. It's starting in a minute.
All right, I'll make sure it starts and let you know.
Okay. We have a minute.
Yeah, it says live video should start soon.
Okay. So I have no idea where Dana is. All right. Dana.
Discussing mediums Breaking Bad. I love it.
What? There we go. How many seconds do we have on Facebook, Tammy?
It's not actually giving me a second count.
Let's see if it's giving me one. Because the live is not started now. Well, we can start though. Hang on. Jane's fever spike. Is she not coming?
No, she's coming. She just taking care of it. That's what she said.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead. Pause our music. And or she can log on without the camera. I can't right now. I'm gonna let you talk to her, Tammy.
Okay. Nope. Log in when you can be on camera. I just told her log in when she can be on camera and you can bring her in from backstage.
Okay. Tom, what is it?
It says Facebook just says starting soon.
Okay.
All it says.
Why is it doing that? Well, it says we're live. There she is. Well, I'll add her to stream when she can be on the camera. Why is it not starting? Tom, see if you can figure this out. I don't know, but we're actually live though on YouTube. So that's okay. Why?
My dog is eating his foot, entertaining us right now.
Well, yeah. So let's see. All right. It says doesn't match the other destination. There she is. We'll bring her to the stream. Hi, honey.
Sorry, my little one's got a.
We're having some technical difficulties. I want to go live on Facebook and it will not let me. Let me see if I can edit this. Edit. Okay. Will that do it?
We were just sitting enjoying my dog eating his foot.
Well, mine was in the garden earlier eating carrots.
Oh.
Yeah.
It won't let me. Let me see. Unview it over here. It won't let me do that. So it won't go live on Facebook for me. Hang on, guys. Why does StreamYard hate me so much?
I don't know.
Or
all electronics.
Or it hates me when I don't know. I have no idea. Looks like this broadcast was deleted. Try creating a new broadcast. Or just remove this destination from the broadcast, then re-add it. So remove.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I don't want to delete it on Facebook, though.
Right, just hit remove.
Okay. And now I can go back, right?
Yep.
And save changes.
Okay, that looks right.
We might actually be live on Facebook. Yay!
Let me double check.
Something's happening to your special purpose.
And only 4 minutes late. Oh my gosh. I went through all of that. Hi, everybody. Hopefully people will start popping in soon. Oh my goodness.
We are definitely live now on Facebook.
We are. All right. So I'm going to close that out so I'm not cross-talking myself. There, and we've got folks. All right. Awesome. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for popping in tonight. I appreciate it. You guys already know I am Jennifer, and I am happy to see everybody for August Pop-Up Live. I am joined once again by Tammy Christine, Medium, and this time Dana Joy was able to join us. Yay!
I made it. I didn't leave the house today, so I was already here.
You were already there. You were already there. But you're also dealing with illness at your house, so I feel bad.
Yeah, my little one today woke up with it. We thought that I just lost my voice. That's why I sound amazing. And turns out it was something else. So he's out there being really extra right now. And sorry, my IT guy couldn't help us, but he's busy dealing with popsicle delivery and temperature checks. So
oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Aww.
Right now, all is still well. It's just fever's doing its job, and hopefully he'll probably be fine in about 8 hours. That's
awesome. Hello, Mort. Thank you for joining us. It's good to see you. Well, I'm really thrilled that you're here this time, Dana, because we missed you terribly last time. So, and we're gonna have some fun tonight because we're gonna be talking about Medium's Breaking Bad.
That needs to be a show.
What?
Yeah, why not?
Medium's Breaking Bad?
We film mediums that are doing the wrong thing.
Awesome. Hi, Jeff. Jeff's with us. Look at that. Hold on.
Hey,
Look at that.
Jeff.
Look, there he is. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff would totally be down with that idea to do a show where you just go around filming different mediums and showing what they did wrong.
Oh, could it be like, what is that NBC show, To Catch a Predator? So
Mm-hmm.
we could be like, to catch a fake psychic.
Ooh, I like it.
So obviously, our topic tonight
We're being
is mediums and psychics who are not all love and light.
You mean the love and nightmares?
Love and nightmares?
Love and nightmares.
Lightmares. There we go.
Yeah.
Love and nightmares. Yeah, some of them are. And I think the reason I wanted to do this topic, Jeff said, let's trademark it. All right, Jeff, get on it. Get on it.
our manager. Give me our manager, Jeff.
Yes, I vote Jeff.
You need one more job. Just one more.
Get on it, Jeff. Do that. But no, because we were talking last month, Tammy, and we slid into the topic a little bit about mediums who may not treat other mediums really well, right?
Right.
So that got me thinking about some of the stories that I've heard and one personal experience I've had with a medium who was not on the up and up, and tried to bilk my own mother. And this was many years ago. And I thought, well, this happens a lot more than I think people who are more open to coming to mediums and psychics really think. Because I do know that there are people who are starry, wide-eyed, and they're like, all mediums have to be love and light and namaste. Oh, Jeff, I'm sorry. We didn't invite the Green Swamp medium. He didn't make the cut for the show. Next month, Jeff. Next month, I'm going to do a whole hour devoted to the Green Swamp medium. So you better be there. That's all I got to say, or he better be there. But I wanted to talk about it because I think that I've run into a couple of instances lately where I have talked to people who have had some really bad experiences. And I think that talking about it is how we educate people who are more likely to seek out the help of a medium or a psychic, and teach them maybe some things that they need to look for, some signs, some warning signs, red flags, run if this happens. So I thought it would be a good topic for the three of us because I know you both have experience as well with those types of folks who are unfortunately not honest, shall we say. So that's where the idea for this came from. And I think one of the things that I wanted to point out to folks is that you always have the ability to do some research. So, but I want to tell a story first. This happened when I was a teenager. When I was 16, my dad passed away. And about a year later, my mom decided to see a local medium. She'd had a little article written about her in the local newspaper. She had some good publicity. So she made an appointment to go see her. And we both went, and we had two separate appointments. And when we were driving home, my appointment was fine. And when we were driving home, my mom was telling her about the stuff that she had said. And some of it was accurate, but some of it was kind of weird. And then she said, she told me your dad is stuck and that she can get him crossed over if I pay her $450. This was 1986.
Just for reference, y'all, that's the year I was born.
That's a lot of money in 1986 for.
That was a lot of money in 1986. Dana, we're ignoring that comment.
You're way too young, Dana. No.
I think that's how much my parents' car cost back then.
Oh, he has tons of stories about bad things. But so, I mean, that was my first experience, and my mom didn't pay the money because she knew she was a smart lady. She also had some abilities of her own, so she knew she was being built or trying to be built. And you know, and she was like, well, this woman is full of, you know, yeah. But it continues to this day. It utterly continues to this day, where recently I had someone reach out to me and she said, can you help me? I had a psychic tell me I was cursed. And I was like, well, okay. And I had her tell me exactly what happened. She gave me the psychic's name. And the first thing I did was I Googled him. He had a rap sheet a mile long. So a Google search could have saved her a lot of heartache and a lot of money. And I worked with her. I didn't charge her because it was such a horrific situation. But explaining you're not cursed. I wish I had an answer for you as to why people do this, but there are a lot of them who do because they prey on other people's suffering. And there are a ton of stories like this. And there are ways that you can protect yourself. And, we're going to talk about some of that. And we're going to talk about, some of the things that we have seen, we have heard. I'll put this comment up. Hang on. Jeff, I love the ones that tell people you have a black shadow figure that watches you sleep, and I can't help you with it. and that brings up a whole, a whole other thing is that some mediums don't mean any harm. They don't. They just don't know any better. So I'm going to start, Tammy, I'm going to start with you and just have you tell us your thoughts and any experiences you may want to share with it, and any tips you may have for our audience.
What I want to start out by saying is, and I've seen this just myself walking into residential homes, and we typically, like with our local team here in Oklahoma, and like I know our practice with Warren Foundation, we don't like to just blurt out and tell them, oh yeah, we're a medium. It's like the second you tell someone you're a medium, they're all over you, and they totally, like, it's almost like one of those hats with the little spinny things, you know what I'm talking about, goes on their head all of a sudden, and they're just like, whoa, wait, you're a medium? Hold on. What, you know everything. What can you tell me? Okay, we're just people. We are people communicating, using our vessels to communicate with spirit. Spirit is in control. So in these instances, if you've got someone approaching you, coming to you and saying, oh my gosh, your mom is standing behind you, blah, 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 blah. Could that be if it's an honest medium? Yes, absolutely. It could be. But most mediums do not approach you just on the street, walking by. Most, Teresa Caputo does this, and she is a seasoned celebrity, and that's part of her show. That's part of what she does with her show. So it's totally normal to get those kind of feelings and get those kind of be able to read people when you're out just grocery shopping and all that. But is it proper to actually go do it? And I honestly feel like if you don't know the person at all, it's really not proper, because you could be doing more harm than you are helping.
No. And Lynn just commented, the ones who will message you on Facebook.
Yes.
And she said, say that I need a cleaning and it will cost a small sum just to clean me up. And I'm like, are they coming to clean your house? Because that would be my question.
If they want to do my dishes, I'll pay them.
I mean, I got laundry that you can do. That's the only kind of cleaning you better be contacting me about.
So I guess the biggest like red flag that I would tell anyone to look for as a tip is if someone is literally coming to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's usually like okay, how did you hear about me? If you weren't referred from a client or you didn't hear about me from a podcast or some way that we were discussing mediumship and then you got my name and came to me, I don't know whether I can trust that. So like Jen said, you can Google them. You can, I mean, I don't know how many people have Googled their own name. You might want to do that just for funsies because
Yeah.
it's interesting what you find.
No, I don't.
There's a lot of information out there about every single one of us just by our name. Putting our name.
MySpace was a weird time. That's all I'm gonna say.
Social media has ruined the world. Okay, I said it.
But that is one really, it's a good tip, and it's very simple. Just Google them. You know, if they're reputable, they're likely either going to have a website or they're going to have a Facebook page. You can read their reviews.
Absolutely.
I even recommend, you know, if you're not sure, you can talk to people who have worked with me. That is fine. I have no issue with that. If you want to reach out to those who worked with me to ask about me, to ask about my abilities, my ethics, that's fine. And I recommend that anybody who's considering seeing a medium, you do that. You check the person out. Maybe get some references.
Agreed.
Because there are a lot of really bad ones out there. And Dana, I know you've run into a few of them too in your time.
More than a few.
Yeah, more than a few. So, I mean, there's some crazy stuff.
Here's why I think. So, on that note, I don't have a page or even a social media page set up for it. And it's
Hi, Anna.
because
Anna.
I've run into so many strange people that I was like, I don't want to be a magnet for that and have those people coming to me. And I volunteer with the Warren Legacy Foundation, but I don't, unless it's through word of mouth, I don't offer readings for the public. I don't I don't have a business where I, charge and offer that time to people yet or anything like that. So I don't have that. And I don't, unless somebody asks me, I don't, and that's the thing, I will never approach you and offer you a reading online or unless you come to me and you're asking me and someone has referred you that I've worked with, I don't even, nobody knows what I do.
And you saying that, Dana, actually brought to mind something that our mentors, we've all mentored with Cindy Keza, and Natalie is another one that we've had spend a lot of mentoring with. Both of those ladies, I mean, they both will tell you 100 times over, you'll get comments from people on Facebook or Messenger, hey, inbox me, give me a call, whatever, from them appearing to be them. And they're like, listen, I will never seek out a reading from you. Like that's not what they do. And that's pretty typical for most people that are doing this for the right reasons.
Right. Absolutely. And that actually leads into something else that I think is more prevalent now, because I mean, online is everything. In order to do this, you have to have an online presence. You really do. If you're doing it professionally, unless you're staying incognito like Dana, which is totally understandable. Except now you're not because you're on the show.
I guess secret's out. They have to know how to find me, or they have to be friends of a friend. So if you're here and you're curious, ask Jen.
I recommended people to you, so because you have a unique skill set.
I've been plenty busy with just word of mouth, and I don't know. I'm old school like that. I'm like, you know what? I'm a magnet for weirdos, and that's just in everyday life, not just not just mediums Breaking Bad or strange clients, but no, yeah, I need to get my weirdo magnet removed. And I'm like, I think putting a page up, that's just going to invite a lot of those messages like, oh, hey, I I was drawn to you. I felt drawn to your energy. Oh, it's so lovely. I'd like to do a reading for you. It'll only be, $699.75. And I'm like I get messages like that all day long, and I don't even have a page. So nothing to say I'm
Oh,
interested in that, and I get all the spam.
I had one on Instagram, and they were claiming to be Sean Austin from 28 Days Haunted. And it was the whole I was drawn to you immediately, and I'm like, "Oh, please."
It's like they have a script.
I'm like, "Really?" But yeah, you have to be careful. And actually, Jeff's got a good question. I'll put it up here. Are there any quick signs that people can pick up on that tells them they are dealing with a fake?
Mhm.
It's the money. The money. When they bring up money, like immediately,
Not a problem.
or
I can get rid of it for X.
immediately, whatever the issue is, it's negative.
Right.
It is negative. It's a curse. It's an entity. It's the D word. Um,
I can tell you as a medium and just as a human being, we don't want to tell you that there's something bad or negative
Now,
going on. And we no, we do not like to deliver that news. We are not going to lead with, hey, there's something bad going on,
mm-mm,
but we can
no,
fix it for X amount of dollars.
right.
That is not how it works.
But I mean, if they're starting with the overly negative and all of your issues are, well, you've been cursed by whoever, or, there's this entity that's attached to you, or run, run, because it's not true. And especially if it's followed up. But for $250, I can get rid of it.
yeah. And here's
Get a
the
second opinion.
as a paranormal investigator as well, I mean, I can 100% tell you there is absolutely no way you can walk into a house one time for an hour, for 2 hours, for 30 minutes, whatever it is that you're going there. Even I would even stretch it to say one night at a haunted location and be able to figure out everything that's going on. It just doesn't work like that, even for mediums. Now, are there cases that you do figure it out pretty quickly? And yes, there are those cases because there's just too much activity and things are going on and you're figuring it out. Same scenario for readings. Do you sit down with a person and it's like a book starts being written and you've just got a ton of information? Well, of course. Are there people that you sit down and it's like you're pulling your hair out trying to get something and you can't get it? And I go back to, again, that's all energy, right?
Yeah.
So everybody brings their energy, and then we are basically receptors of and reaching into the ether to pull down whatever it is that ties and relates to that person. So in a sense, like, mediumship is work. Mediumship takes time. It's not something that you just walk into someone's presence and say, "Oh, you have this, and by the way, I can help you." But it doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't work that way. And I like this point that Lynn has here. If you're contacted by a medium, check that profile right away, because you'll see identical pictures that were just uploaded that day. So the scammers will duplicate pages of legitimate mediums.
Right.
And we've seen that happen. I was just talking about one with the guy who contacted me on Instagram. So yeah, they will. So it's a combination of, and I don't want to put the onus on people who seek out mediums or seek out psychic help, because it's not their fault. A lot of times there is a situation going on, whether it be a paranormal one or just not, or just they're not in a good place. So they're not thinking about, I should check this person out. But I really got to urge that, even when, you're not in a good place, it's no different than seeking out a doctor, a therapist, a dentist. You're going to check the reviews online. You're going to get, references from your friends. So I can't stress that one enough. So that's a very good comment though, Lynn. Thank you.
And I mean, common sense, just you have to go back to what you're born with and instilled with, common sense.
Yeah.
So just think it out. Slow things down, slow down the roll, think it out. because it happens. And people that are in those, like you said, Jen, stressful situations where they be having something going on in their home or to one of their children, they're so stressed out with anxiety that they're not thinking totally clear.
Yeah.
So it also helps to approach that situation with people in that situation and ask, is there anything going on? You know, like say they just want a reading and nothing's been mentioned about anything else.
Yeah.
Is anything going on that would, you know, cause anything? Do you want, you know, here are my references? Like make them, you have to gain a sense of trust with people. And that trust needs to come from valid information that you can provide so that you are not one of those people that are just fly by night going in trying to you know, do something.
Well,
Yeah, Jeff's comment here.
Yeah,
like,
Jeff's comment that most of the cases we see at Warren involve a bad paranormal team or bad medium that came before the client ended up coming to us. And that's an excellent, excellent point. And
hey, Savannah.
Hey, Savannah. Yep, vetting is essential. Hey, Annie. And Annie says people prey on vulnerability, and that's what they do, because when you have somebody who's scared or someone who is in just tremendous amounts of grief, they're so vulnerable. And someone who will prey on that is really the worst kind of human being. And again, even if they have abilities, doesn't make them a good person. It really does not make them a good person.
Right.
So here's something that I was thinking about is, why do people who actually have genuine abilities, real talents, why do they go this route? Why do they still insist on bilking people? Is it just the easy dollar?
You know, I don't know, because I don't have that breadth, that bone in my body. So it's hard for me to understand taking advantage of people.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I mean, they could do honest work and just you use their powers for good, you know. But they could be doing what they're good at for a living, but instead they make a living out of hurting people, and I just don't. Oh, that's a good point, Savannah.
Savannah, money
another
talks and fame is a temptress. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the fame monster. That's another one. Like I don't understand the people that would do anything to get attention, whether it's good or bad. They just want to be the center of attention. And I think power, a lot of times, like just wielding that power, that's what they enjoy that more than they enjoy the money. I've seen that too. And I'm like, I don't understand that. I don't want to be in front of a camera. I don't want people to be all looking at me at the same time. I can't imagine doing what my mentor does and standing up on a stage and reading for a crowd of strangers. Like I would be a nervous wreck. Like I would be worried about getting names wrong. Like I wouldn't be thinking about, oh, how much am I getting paid? Or, oh, hey, there's a camera here.
And one of the things, though, that I do want to point out here, and also Tina brings up a really good point, is that you have people who are desperate for answers and would be willing to do anything or pay anything for those answers. And that makes them vulnerable to these people as well. But one of the things I do want to mention is that I'm not bashing mediums who charge. I charge. You know, Tammy and I both work professionally, and I'm not bashing that, and I'm not saying that you should not charge for honest work. But I am just running into way too many who are dishonest, who are downright, they're thieves. They're absolute thieves.
If their business model is like a pest control company, like we'll come in and do this basic service, but if you have this, this, or this, and they have a menu of like, oh, spider demon, oh, you know, shadow figure, oh, just friendly ghost, like different costs to get rid of different things, then you know right away, run.
I like this. Jeff, I agree with you. Sometimes some mediums think that they're way more gifted than they actually are. Yeah.
And and that's a hard one. I mean, I agree with it, but it's a hard one because doing what we do, and I know you all have experienced this too because I've studied with you guys. It's really hard to take yourself seriously. It's really hard to believe in yourself. Period.
Yeah, it
Sorry,
is.
Jeff almost made me shoot water on my nose. Thanks, Jeff.
I know. Jeff's we've got a whole clan of spider animals.
We know you love your spider demons, Jeff. We do.
So yeah, just how when we're training and we're really getting to know ourselves, because you have to, that's like step one. You have to know yourself
Yeah.
through and through. And we doubt ourselves, we doubt our own abilities. Even though we're getting like all this stuff and we're like, oh my gosh, how did I just do that? At the end of the day, you still go, wait, did I just do that? Was that me? Like, did that happen? Maybe I can't do it next time. I don't know where that came from. Like, you just doubt yourself. And it's hard to continually put that to bed, but that's what you have to do.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. You have to put that to bed. And Savannah brings up the point, to charge exorbitant amounts is a huge tell to their ethics and the quality of their ability. Yeah, and I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. I am someone who does believe that what we do needs to be accessible to those who need it. What good is it going to do if I charge $350 an hour for a reading if nobody can afford it? Or I know people are scraping and giving me their last dollar just for a chance to hear from a loved one. I don't want to be that person.
Yeah, like I don't want to be the one that says, "Oh, I'll do a reading for you," and then they sit down and throughout our reading, then I find out like their kid needs shoes. You know what I mean? Like, what? No, like that's horrible.
Yeah, it's one thing to get compensated for your time and for expending your energy, but it's a whole nother thing to want every last penny somebody has. Like you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
I want to say hi because that's Candy. Is that you on? Or is that Syndra on Peaceful Easy Healing? I want to say hi.
And another thing that I want to bring up too is, and I don't know everybody's, I'm just kind of giving you an overall view on what I feel about this. But if I do a reading for someone, and I had this happen at Rock the Block last Friday. I had a lady that came in. She waited a darn long time. I had a huge list of people, finally got to her. And she sat down, and immediately it was like, I had her dad there, but then something swooped in and just blocked. And it was like, you're not going there. And my guides were even telling me, beware, warn, don't go. Like, you don't want to delve into this. This is not good. And we worked out and figured out throughout that evening, I stopped and I said, I'm going to be a human being right now. And I'm just going to work with this and I'm going to figure out what's going on. Did figure out that this particular individual had some very traumatic things happen in her past. Her father was actually murdered by possibly a family member. And that family member dealt with some dark magic and things. And so I think the energy that I was feeling was that
Right.
blocked. And, we got a lot out that evening, and it was actually very cathartic and very beautiful for her. And she was very happy. But at the end of it, that wasn't really a mediumistic reading. That was me sensing and feeling into psychically what was going on with her, getting blocked from the reading, and then offering her free advice on what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't charge her. I said, listen, this is not what this was supposed to be. I'm happy to help you and bring you this warning, and this is what you need to know. But come back and see me next month. We'll try again. And, I think a good sign of a good medium is someone that if it doesn't work out, truly doesn't work out. And I'm not saying what you should do is start negating everything a medium says, because then you're blowing your whole reading. And what good is that?
Right.
But if it truly isn't a good reading, a medium is not going to say, oh, you know what? I spent 40 minutes with you, and so pay anyway. I mean, they're just not.
They're not. They're not going to do that. And sometimes, and sometimes situations like that are sometimes no one's fault. Because you can also have a medium and a sitter that just don't vibe together. And that can happen. And, at that point, I'm just going to be like, I'm very, very sorry. I'm going to return your money. If you'd like to try again in the future, I would love that. If you'd like a referral to another medium, I can give you that. So, I mean, it
And
is about the ethics, and unfortunately, a lot of them don't have ethics, and we run into it. We see it with mediums who work with paranormal teams, unfortunately. I think we've all seen that. And sometimes they can make the situation a lot worse.
And that's the thing, even if you're vibing and you're giving them all sorts of information, if it's not helpful and
Yeah.
it makes the situation worse, like if they're not offering some some sort of solution,
Hmm.
did they really just help you, or did they just
Hmm.
add to your problem, like whatever you were coming to see them for to begin with?
And
That actually segues into something else I wanted to talk about with this was the advent of the Instagram and TikTok medium. And these are people who do have genuine ability, but they don't have training. And that's a problem. We have all gone through, and I mean, the three of us have all gone through a tremendous amount of professional training. Um, when someone has raw ability, I think that's absolutely fantastic. But if you don't learn to work with that and develop things like ethics and how to deliver messages, and sometimes when to deliver a message, because there are messages, and I think we have each been in this situation where we'll get something and we're going to be like, I can't deliver that piece of information because it's going to cause a lot of damage if I do.
that goes back to like my old adage of playing the piano. There are people that have raw talent and they're good and they can get three blind mice out on the piano. And then there are people that have that talent and then they have wielded their skills, they have studied, they have read, they have done shadow work, they have done all the things that are needing to be in place, and they're a maestro. They're taking off and playing, the hardest concerta. So it's really it's easy to spot a lot of times. I wanted to go back to Savannah made a comment about sometimes the sitter will block us.
Yeah.
That's also very true. You get people that are skeptics and they're like, I'm gonna go get a reading. I'm gonna show this medium. I'm not gonna give her anything, and they just totally block and put a wall up.
Hmm.
Use as a medium, I would say on those particular ones, you don't need to be handing their money back, but give clear definition to them before you start, which is another part of ethics and giving your speech before you kind of start. How do you work? Tell them they have to be open. You're going to know as a medium, you're going to intuitively sense and feel and be able to tell looking at their body language that they're blocking you and they're doing it on purpose. I've had it happen. And
Hmm.
I stopped and actually said, you're skeptical, aren't you? You don't believe in what I do. So you're kind of putting up a wall right now, aren't you? And they said, yeah, yeah, I am. And it
Hmm.
actually caused their wall to fall
Yeah.
by addressing it.
And
And
Yeah.
then
then
actually being blocked by spirit as well, like because it knowing what's best for you, like things that would trigger you or are traumatic for
Hmm.
you that are like for instance, like you go through a loss. I just did. And so I couldn't do anything for a while. I had to take a break because it was too close to that, and
Yeah.
certain people have had events in their life or like things that like say they had, a near death experience with water or something, like they can't see drowning or something like that. Like it
Hmm.
will block certain things just to keep them safe and keep them, you know,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. We've got some really good questions coming in. I'll start with the one that I have up here from Jeff. What do we feel is a medium's role on a paranormal team?
First and foremost, I one of the reasons I think I don't know either. Okay, I'll start with this, like being able to keep your team safe and your client safe. Like that's sometimes we get extra information and it's like I don't know how to, okay, I don't know. Maybe you know how to explain it better. I know we all do the same work, but I'm at a loss for words here. Like being able to help keep our friends safe on an investigation, like
Yeah.
that's one of the roles that I take seriously is knowing, what we're dealing with and finding out what you're dealing with before you put people on the ground in a place.
Right. And I think it's important too, as a medium on a paranormal team, to be able to validate the information my team is getting, that they're getting with their experiments, with their investigations, and to walk in there not knowing anything and to be able to validate what they have received. I think that's really important. And I think it adds to the investigation and it adds to the credibility of the investigation. So I think that's a part of it too.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was going to say, like on our team, we always go in and the first thing we do, we send in our case manager who's already done the intake and has information. That information is not shared with the mediums on the team or the sensitives. And then as we get there, we let the case manager go in, get acquainted, walk around, whatever they need to do. We stay outside. We don't go in. And we just kind of start raising our energy and getting a vibration, feeling around our surroundings. And then we go in and do what's called a blind walk. We do not walk it together. We do not talk. We use our cell phones or paper, and we literally type or write whatever we get. And then we share that prior to the investigation starting so that we can literally place our cameras and our equipment where we felt the spirit energy. And then we see what we get. And then the third step, after we do all of that, and we've got equipment validating, backing up what the medium's experiencing, then we actually go to the archives and we get on the computer and we look for detailed facts and we go to the consensus and we go to the property records and we do those things trying to validate and find the information that we literally got on the investigation in writing so that we can, newspapers.com articles from the 1800s, whatever it takes. That's what we do to validate all the information and bring it together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we typically don't tell the people on the investigation, hey, that's the medium. Because
no, you would never, it's not like, oh, I'm going to bring my medium in to walk.
right.
A team doesn't, I should say, a reputable team will not do that. So that doesn't work that way.
It's
So,
different than what you see on TV.
yeah. Tina has a really good question here. Has there ever been a time someone blames you for a bad reading? It's like they didn't hear what they wanted to, so they said you're a fake. How do you handle that?
Well, I haven't had that yet, but maybe it's coming. Oh, no.
We all know it's coming eventually because that's just real life. I mean, there are just like giving a friend advice or a family member advice, there are people that just aren't ready to hear the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And they're used to people telling them what they want to hear, and that's not what we're there to do. We're not there to just to tell you what you want to hear.
I have had clients not take the information.
Me too. Correct.
Where they will just say no, 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 even though I knew that the information was accurate. Does that make sense?
I think we experienced that together. Remember, there was that one time that we knew what we were getting was accurate because we all ended up working with, and this was one of the classes. We all were in doing an exercise with the same person, and then once afterwards, you keep in touch, you practice together, and we all got the same thing that they said no to, and it's like,
yeah,
okay, that's odd. Why did we all get the same thing? Well, it turned out they were completely lying about.
Right. And sometimes people we get a lot of people who want to test us. So they'll pay for 15 or 30 minutes just to see if they can get us. Mm-hmm. And then when we're giving them information that's actually accurate, that they should be able to take, they don't know. They just say no because it makes them mad. That we got it.
Well,
And it's different than when somebody honestly, like, they can't, like, it's just not.
And it's different than if they don't remember or they're just having a brain fart. That's
Yeah.
different.
I mean, somebody's always expecting, like, I really want this person to show up, or I really want to talk to this person. But you have your A squad, your B squad, your Z squad, maybe, who shows up today. But you're like, oh, I can't remember anybody by that name. But turns out, oh, afterward, oh, I wrote it down, and guess what? Like, and it was something really important for somebody else, because also you can be delivering messages for, somebody that they know and not necessarily directly to them. So it's like, if that gets thrown in, they're like, oh, well, you got that one part wrong though.
No, Jeff, that is not what we do.
No, we call you and have you do it.
We call you Jeff and we have you do it.
You're a bouncer. You're like Charlie's Angels, and you're Bosley.
Yeah. Jeff is our Bosley. There you go.
We all have the right hair color.
Oh God.
Oh, anyway.
Wait, but I'm the stupid one. I'm kidding. Oh my God.
Well, which one are you?
Well, I mean, it was Farrah who had the blonde hair, and then the one after they all blonde.
Farrah wasn't stupid.
No, Farrah was not.
Sorry, Farrah Fawcett. No,
I apologize, Farrah. Please don't. I no. I wasn't talking about her personally, just the character.
We're just having fun.
Jeff's like, let's trademark that show too. And Savannah's spirits do have a poor concept of time. They do. They really do.
They are on their own time.
They are on their own time.
It's called no time. They don't have time.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
Kind of like me. Just kidding. I was early twice today. No, I was early once and then I was on time.
Yes. Savannah, thank you. Jen Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore is Tammy, and Dana's Lucy Liu. Oh, I love that. I'll take that.
Totally.
I'll take Cameron Diaz. I like it.
That's funny. Thank you very more if I can go back and be in 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler, because that is like the cutest little movie ever.
Yeah. So what would you advise folks when they're thinking about contacting a medium? What kinds of questions would you advise that they ask, that they interview the medium before they agree to sit for them?
I think most importantly, they should ask them how they work.
I think that's important too. I would want to know if they've had any formal study. Have they studied with any other mediums or any, schools, things like that? Because there are schools there's Hogwarts for mediums. So
there's a few. You can choose your own depending on your belief system, and there are plenty of ways to do it right.
Yeah.
And I think references are like a really big go-to too. I mean, now it's just like anything, right? Like you go to Yelp and you look at references. Are some of them, they've been plugged in there to be like, oh yeah, everything's great. Go look at the ones that maybe, aren't the best, and the not the greatest review, just the shortest one or something like that, and just see, because even those reviews are probably good for mediums. But I mean, most mediums aren't going to leave a bad comment on their Facebook page or stuff that's going to be hard to judge, because they're not going to leave it up for you to see, because then that negates their whole business. So it's kind of different than getting references from like Yelp. But still, I think checking references, maybe looking at their friends list, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, check out, check out who they're friends with. I mean, check out their pages.
And what's their personality like? Like, would you vibe with them? Like, if you ran into them at a coffee shop and just started chatting, or like, are you gonna like, because every one of us delivers information through our own lens, so it's like our own filter, or whether or not we have one is debatable.
Absolutely.
But for me,
We know
but
your filter, Dana.
what's that?
That's so true. And if you're vibing with them, if you're feeling their energy, if they're coming across like you feel like they're a nice person, it's going to be a better reading also because you're both more open.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And I can tell you, no medium that I know personally that I consider a friend or that I respect as a medium is going to say no to a prospective client who says, "Hey, can I just ask you a few questions before I schedule?"
Yep.
I would not say no to that. Tammy wouldn't, Dana wouldn't, none of us would.
No.
And none of our mentors would either.
We're the only ones that shouldn't be asking any questions beforehand, other than when do you want to meet?
Yeah, other than,
Other than scheduling,
what's best in your schedule? Do you want Zoom?
Great point, Dana, that you just made without really inadvertently didn't even realize. Yes, if you contact a medium and you say, "Hey, I want a reading," and they start asking you questions or fishing for information.
Or, "Hey, can I add you as a friend on whatever social media?" Like, even if somebody adds me and then asks me right away for a reading, because like I said, it's just been word of mouth, and just friends of friends, and mostly for, mediumship readings. And it's like, I purposely won't go look at who they are. Like, I won't accept their friend request till after we do the reading, like things like that. Like, if I have to add somebody before that, it's like, I unfollow them so I don't see their page. I'm like, nope, I won't look at pictures, nothing. Like, you have to actively avoid sometimes, because that's another thing. You don't want to give the medium too much information. So yeses and nos are great, but don't tell us a whole backstory.
No, I don't want to know why you're reaching out to me or what you want to talk about or what you want me to look at. I don't want to know any of that. But you can ask me, how long have you been a medium? Who have you studied with? How do you work? What do you specialize in, even? Whatever.
Yeah, good point, Tina. It's sort of like a job interview. Exactly.
Yeah, it is. Tina's right. It's like a job interview.
It's like a consultation.
Yeah.
I mean, for tattooing, like I'm a tattoo artist as well. So it's like having a consultation. You have to make sure that your style is right for them and that they like the artwork, and, we're clear on the expectations from each of us, the client and, the artist, whatever. But in this case, the medium and the sitter, like, it's a consultation is completely reasonable, and that should never cost you money.
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't.
And
except we're not getting information from them, they're getting information from us. So it's just like a reverse tattoo consultation, if you've ever done that.
Yeah. And I agree with Savannah. She says the more info she knows, the more muddled the messages become. Yes, they do. Because if I know too much information, I'm not going to be able to discern what I'm actually getting and what my own mind is spinning for you. So I don't want to know anything. I don't. And I know sometimes clients want to pour their heart out to us, but wait until after the reading. And then that's perfect. We can, we're happy to do that. But yeah, not beforehand.
Yeah.
Ask all the questions you want as far as, how we work. I don't
like getting to know one another. It's hard to read for one another. We're so close. It's one of those things where it's almost like, okay, if it's somebody that in your family that we don't know, or like, but for each other, it's like we know too much about each other.
Yeah.
It's really hard to read for each other, for friends, for family. It's very, very hard because you're so emotionally close and tied to them that it's hard to separate what what's in your logical brain and your heart. It's hard to separate that and get to that solar plexus where it's coming from spirit.
Absolutely. My daughter is terrible about wanting me to read for her, and it's like, I can't. It doesn't work that way. So I'm like, Dana, Tammy.
I got you. If it's late at night, I got you. If it's early in the morning, Tammy's got you.
I don't know that, but
or daytime, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, but yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there all these things that we've talked about tonight can be taken singly or wholly, but you need to look at stuff and just think about it. And I think to our point earlier, that is where it becomes the hardest with vetting people is when you're in a situation at the same time.
Yeah.
So, as a medium, like Jeff had asked earlier about, mediums in the paranormal, that'd be one of the things I would add to that would be we need to remember in those situations that these people are under a certain amount of distress or anxiety. And we don't need to add to that by going in there as a medium and saying, oh my gosh, you have this and you have that. And that we never do that. We get all our evidence, do our validation. We actually go back and discuss how we're going to approach and bring this to the people, because you've got to remember people are scared if they're in a situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's just to blurt stuff out like some of these bad breaking mediums do.
Some of the Walter Whites of mediumship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It can change the course of everything.
It can.
In a situation we had one of these cases that came to us from a bad medium telling people to burn down their home. What is that going to do? That's arson. That's illegal. Hence, you might go to jail, but maybe you caught that demon, like I don't know. It's just, these are things that when you hear them, walk the other direction.
Yeah. It blows your mind. But again, when you're in a situation where you're utterly terrified and nobody will believe you, or you have no one who will help you or you think will help you, and somebody walks in and they're like, well, I can solve this problem. All you have to do is burn down your home and pay me $300 for the privilege. And there, your demon's gone. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot that it's not talked about, I think, enough within the mediumship and paranormal communities. And I think that a big part of what we do, and Jeff's like, they charge for that advice too. Yes, they did. But a big part of what we do is we want to be able to educate people, because that's a huge part of it. You need to know, who you're working with, how they work, and realistic expectations, not these, I can get rid of this curse, and the curse that has, plagued your entire family line for generations. Again, basically for a bag of beans and $5,000. Yeah.
Are they magic beans?
Huh?
Magic beans?
No, yeah, the magic beans. Yeah, magic beans. Here, take these magic beans. Your curse is broken.
You're going to need a beanstalk and a cow.
Oh, Tina. Mojo beans. My life's a train wreck, but I'm not about to burn my home. No.
I mean, we can't make this stuff up. Seriously, the things that we hear, it'll blow your mind.
Yeah. Stephanie brings up a really good one.
The truth is always stranger than fiction.
You need a priest, or you have a portal.
That'll be $2,000.
That'll be $2,000.
Go find somebody that deals with that. That'll be $2,000. Like,
what happens if you are telling a Jewish family they need a priest? What happens if you're telling I don't know, any other number of faiths they need a priest? Not gonna work. Not gonna work. So yeah. That's the other thing, is that I think that people get caught up in the idea that we as mediums and investigators fix the problems for them. We can't. We can't. And that's a huge misconception.
We are an assistive tool.
Yeah.
And we have a tool belt full of things that we can do, but the intention, the motivation, the drive has to come from them spiritually.
Yeah, it does.
Absolutely.
It does. And then you have to be able to maintain that vigilance, because if you don't, guess what? Whatever was plaguing you, it's going to come right back in.
Yeah.
And we can't fix that either. It comes from within you. We can give you the tools. We can give you the tools and hopefully help with the self-confidence it takes. We'll be your biggest cheerleaders, and we'll give you all the support that you need, but we cannot fix it for you. And that's such a huge misconception, both in mediumship and in the paranormal, and they kind of just crisscrossing.
They do. And I think that, all the shows on television and YouTube and all that's all largely responsible for why people think, oh, well, we'll just get a medium, or we'll get a paranormal team in here. It'll be gone. I'm going to leave your house tonight. So unless I'm inviting and asking this thing to attach to me and come on home, which I'm not going to do.
No, none of us are going to do that. Nah, sorry. We're not bringing it home with us.
Yeah. And it's like we can walk you through it any amount of times you want until you understand what you're doing. But until you start doing it with your own intentions and with your own faith and with your own confidence, like it's not going to help you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Life changes. That's a lot of it too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. People try to hide, how they really are from us. And it's like, you do understand what you just asked me to do for you, right? You asked me to read into you psychically, mediumistically, like depending on what they're asking for, especially when dealing with the paranormal. It's like, you do understand I'm a psychic, right? Like I know,
Yeah.
they try to hide little things.
Yeah. Why did you invite one to come home with you?
Wait, was it a spider demon though, Jeff?
I think it was.
We know you want one as a pet, but
Yeah. Well, I think it was the Green Swamp medium who invited it.
Yeah, it was his alter ego. Yeah, totally. I can understand that for Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, we can point you in the direction of the right path. Tina's right. Absolutely. Yeah. We can lead you to that path. We can't make you walk it.
Yep.
So. Oh.
But that just goes to speak to psychology of people in general in life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you always hear with any amount of people, like if they have an addiction, if they have something that they need to quit doing, or you cannot make them change. They have to be the one to realize and change.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of the advice we give, and again, I sound like a broken record, but in paranormal and in mediumship is advice to help you get things together. Once the issues have been determined, messages have been delivered, then there are practical things that you need to start doing, and that's the advice we're going to give you.
Jeff, your wife is a saint.
Yeah.
Dana is a saint, Meryl.
Jeff, I would have been pissed too. Just saying.
Got enough of those already. You're bringing another one home? What?
We'll swap stories later, Jeff. I know I was reading this long one too and trying to.
Oh, that's horrible, Lynn. Oh, that makes me angry.
Oh.
That makes me so angry.
And that's exactly
I'm
what
glad your mom didn't pay.
Yeah. Me too. And
that's exactly why we're doing this.
This is what we're doing
this for, because people prey on people's vulnerabilities, their weakness, their grief every day.
Yeah. Yeah. And we see it probably a lot more than the average person does, unfortunately, because a lot of times we end up with these people afterwards because they still have the same issue that they went to the fake for.
Right.
So, this was important to me to talk about this tonight, um, just because I've been seeing a lot of it lately. And I want to educate as many people as possible because the majority of mediums are good people and they're honest. The majority of paranormal teams, good people, they're honest. But you get those that are not, and those unfortunately are the loud, flashy ones that people end up with.
Or the ones that just they mean well, but they just don't know better.
Oops, sorry about my doggy.
Yeah, you do have the ones who mean well and they don't know what they're doing.
And if that helps even one of them realize, oh, there are places I can learn, or if that helps even one person not get taken advantage of, then all of this was worth it. Like if it even helps one person, that not to happen.
Jeff, I'm gonna answer your question. I'll let Dana and Tammy answer with their answers. My rule of thumb for someone who has passed away is I will not attempt to contact them until at least a year has gone by, because otherwise there's too much going on. They're acclimating to the other side. It's not good. It can be a recipe for disaster. Now, if they come through, that's a little different, but I'm not going to actively try and reach them. And I have told people, wait until it's been a year and then we can try. I'll let Dana and Tammy answer that.
At least a year, depending on where they're at. If they're still grieving and you can tell that they're not ready, then, no. If then now, again, if they come through, that's different. But even if they come through and say it's been 2 days and they come through, I'm still, that's one of those situations where you have to decide, is it appropriate to deliver this message right now in this way? Or is there, you know, they're still, if they're trying to come through 2 days later, they're still going to be there when they're ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's another, grief, that's another thing that people take advantage of so much. And I've seen it personally a lot lately, and I've just,
yeah,
it's unbelievable what some people will do.
Yeah, it is. And we could sit here for the next 3 hours and tell horror stories. But that's not what I want to leave you with, because I want to leave you with the fact that there are good people, there are good mediums, good paranormal teams, and you hold all the cards. You have some control over it, and by doing a few simple things to check out whoever it is that you may be thinking of working with.
And these are great questions too, because
yeah.
And don't be afraid that somebody approaches you or you approach someone and you're just not vibing with that person, or you're not feeling that is proper. Like, there are so many out there at this point. To coin a phrase, the market is flooded. It really is. It really is. And there are so many people available. Don't ever let anyone tell you, like, oh, well, you won't find anyone in your area. I guarantee you
that's bull.
There's someone close, and we have so much availability to do Zoom, different things nowadays, that they don't need to be right in your local area.
And like I said, if I don't vibe with somebody, I am happy to refer any number of good mediums for them to work with.
Right.
So I don't take that personally at all, because I want them to be able to get the help or the resolution that they're looking for. So
yeah,
each one of us works a little differently, and again, it's just that, different lens, different personalities, different belief systems, and you got to find the right person for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you guys, do you have any other questions for us? Because it's been, oh wow, we've been going for a while. I just looked at the time. So, like I said, we could talk about this for hours. But I want to see if anybody else who's watching has any questions for us or for either of the ladies. And then I will close out and let them tell us what they're up to. And I'll tell you guys what I'm up to coming up. So,
Oh, Tammy, how long do you wait?
Oh, yeah, I didn't answer that. Here's the thing. I haven't yet come up with a specific like year. You guys are saying a year. I don't have a timeline, so to speak, that way. Mine, I use my clairsentience more with it. It's more on feeling and emotion, but I do also have a rule. Like I had a client come to me one time whose individual had literally just passed. Like they hadn't even had the funeral and they wanted a reading for her daughter. And I did say, you know what? This has not settled. There's not even been a funeral. You guys haven't even worked through your grief. Grief can block readings. It's a common thing for that to happen. I said, let's at least give it a month. Give it a month. Let's get past all this. But that was a friend situation, not like a father or a dad or a spouse or a child of yours. So to me, I kind of weigh what's the relationship and then go from there. But I have had many readings that have come through and it has happened where they just passed a week ago and suddenly they're showing up and I don't even know that this person just passed. I'm completely clueless and the sitter knows exactly who I'm talking about, but I didn't have any knowledge. They just came through on their own. And in that case, if it happens organically like that, it just happens.
And organically is completely different.
Yeah.
That is completely different. But if I have somebody who's saying, look, I lost my child 3 weeks ago. I'm sorry. I'm not going to try and bring them through.
They need some time. They need some time.
They need time. They need time. And both need time. The spirit needs time and the family needs time.
Yes. And every person is different. So we all grieve differently. So some people may grieve and be good in 2 weeks. Some people may grieve in 6 months. Some people it may take 3 years. So I think it just kind of is going to depend. Like for me, it depends on the relationship with that person. What do I know about their relationship? And then when do I feel comfortable doing this?
Right. Absolutely. So Lynn has a question. Has the wrong spirit ever come through? Lynn, can you tell us a little more about what you're asking with that? And I'll put your comment up here on the screen.
Yeah, I think she's kind of saying like you're trying to get a certain spirit and a different one comes through.
Right.
And I've had that happen.
That happens all the time. Hang on.
But I typically don't ask them ahead of time who do they want to talk to. So I don't know who they're wanting to get in touch with before I do the reading.
Oh.
Usually.
Lynn, is that what you? Oh my goodness. Oh, that's terrible, Lynn. I'm so sorry. Is that what you meant by the wrong? When it's a lot for us? Because I have had that happen where the amount of emotion and the violence can overwhelm us. It absolutely can. So yeah, that certainly can happen. But also wrong spirits, that happens all the time because you'll get someone who is so set on hearing from their one person and it's someone else who has a message.
It's not necessarily that it's the wrong spirit. It's just not the one they were expecting.
It's not the one they were expected.
Correct.
And then interpretation, though, that can go wrong. So if we're trying to interpret the message instead of just delivering it and letting you interpret that, then yeah, sometimes, just again, it's like we'll say a word that doesn't resonate with you, but if we would have used a slightly different word, it would have been a yes. Like, and interpretation can be a little tricky.
Mhm.
So from Lynn's other comments, it looks like what she's saying is she wanted a reading from her cousin, but the husband came through.
Yeah, got
And
it.
that absolutely happens. And usually there's a message. I mean, the husband may have done this god awful, horrendous crime, and he's trying to get his angel wings. He's trying to get forgiveness. He's changed. He knows that things are different, that he did wrong. He may have been trying to communicate that, but in order to get there, Spirit is showing what happened, to Teresa Caputo. And so Teresa
Right.
this awful, heinous act, and he's the one delivering the message. And so it looks like, oh my God, this horrible spirit came through, when in reality, down the road somewhere, there might have been a very nice message that he's really trying to make things right on the other side.
Yeah. So Savannah asked a really good question. How do we differentiate between dead and living energy? See, it depends on the energy.
It's hard, Savannah.
Yeah.
All I can tell you, my personal readings, and you girls answer this too. For me, I just know it's a clear cognizant thing.
It is. It is.
You just know, or it's a feeling. It's more of a, but it's always been, no, it's been clear cognizance. It's like, it's knowing. It's like, and then I have to say, and this is somebody in the living. And
that's what I do too, is that I will say, I believe this person is in the living, does that sound correct to you? And they'll go, oh yeah. Okay. So yeah.
And sometimes depending on how they passed, it can be wrong too. It's like they feel like, that person doesn't have closure and it feels like they're still here. Like that's happened too.
Right.
So,
right.
For me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, let's also say, no medium is 100% ever.
Yeah.
Every reading that I give, there's going to be bits and pieces that don't fit.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's going to be a whole lot that does, but there's going to be some things that for whatever reason, they're just not making the cut. And that's okay, because no one is 100%.
No. And I always tell clients, look, if this is something that really just is not resonating or doesn't make sense, that's fine. I'm going to put that aside, but you put it in your pocket because it may come up later. And I've had people come back to me and go, oh my God, that thing? Yeah, that happened. And it was like, okay. So sometimes it works that way. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Sometimes those are psychic messages. You're actually seeing stuff in the future, but you can't determine that. And so you just, like you said, Jen, put this in your back pocket and, maybe it'll reveal itself later. And if it does, great. And if not, throw it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I always tell people, I can't predict the future for you. I absolutely can't, because you have free will. I can show you possibilities that Spirit is giving me, but they're just possibilities because they're all based on the choices you make.
That's right.
So, and sometimes clients get annoyed when you tell them that. Because they have in their mind that I should be able to see their future.
Like divination and telling the future, like that's, some people are like, oh, that's where I draw the line. And, that's not a good thing. And it's like, that's not what we do. So
it's not what we do. It's not what we do.
Yeah. So. Now there are mediums that do only and wholly that.
There are. There are certain types of readings that I will not give. I don't, if you want to ask me about your love life, I'm going to tell you, no, I am not the right medium or intuitive for you. So not getting mixed up in that. Because honestly, if you're going to come to me with a question about, well, is my husband cheating or is my wife cheating? You already know the answer to that. You don't need me to tell you if you're already asking the question. Yeah. And I don't want to get mixed up in that kind of energy. And nope. So, but I know a medium who thrives on that kind of reading. And it's like, that's great.
and again, it's finding the right person for you and the right person for what you're seeking help with, or what your question is, or who you want to connect with. Like, if you had somebody that, like, for instance, your relative was, foul mouth, cussed like a sailor, drank like a pirate, and you're going to some, holy roller medium, like, they're probably not going to deliver their message very accurately. They won't even talk like them. It's like, on the other end of the spectrum there, it's like, but like some people, relationships, it's a no-go, and like love life, no, predicting the future, no, like that's, again, like, ask them how they work. What do you do? How do you work? Like, and if they don't have a description, or like for instance, like, I don't have a social media page or website, but that's because that's not what I'm doing with it right now. So it's like, I'm geared more toward, paranormal investigation right now, and that's what makes me happy right now. So that's what we're doing. But
exactly.
But yeah, it's like finding the right person for you. Like, if somebody, if I'm into paranormal investigation, I'm doing this for like 6 months straight, and somebody's like, oh, I want a reading about my love life, and I'm like, it's haunted. No. But like, it's like, no, I don't. Certain things, like, just ask, and if anybody's ever upset with you asking, then that's a red flag right there in and of itself.
Yeah. And yeah, that's never a good thing. That is never a good thing. But also, if you get someone who um is not comfortable with spirits who may be more colorful than others, as Dana said, drank like a pirate and cusses like a sailor or whatever it is, yeah, they're not going to give you the message, not in the way it was intended. I will.
You see, if somebody won't deliver that, then it changes the message. What if they had a specific phrase they said, and that's how you recognize that person? You're like, oh, nope, you didn't get them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like today, like we talked about earlier, Jen, I had a reading today, and I don't know. I was trying to get the name of the gentleman that was with me, and it was her fiance, and he had passed from cancer before they got married. And I got all that, but I was like trying to get the name, and I was like, it's like an S name. It's an S name. And they showed me a picture of Sully, like Sully from Monsters Inc. And I just said, okay, I'm just going to say this. I said, Sully, Sullivan, Sully. What is this Sully? He's saying, call me Sully, call me Sully. His last name was Sullivan, and he went by Sully. So
the monster.
Yes, if you don't say those things that you get that just seem so random, you will never know.
So that's true. It is all very true. So, any other questions for us? We're coming up here close to 9:30, so I think we're going to wrap up. All right. You guys have been awesome. Oh, hang on, one more. Lynn's got one more. That was obviously embarrassing. I actually have not run into that. I don't know if you guys have.
I totally have.
They've made me say some stuff, but I knew it was important, and I was like, this is going to, and I'll even say, this is going to sound silly, but I'm just going to say it how they're telling me.
That's what I say too.
This isn't coming from me. Don't think I'm weird. I am, but this is coming from them.
Yeah. And Savannah has a really good point, is that spirit does communicate with our own internal database.
Yep.
And they will go with what they know we're going to understand, and they're going to show it to us or say it to us in a way that we understand.
Oh, I love that. Movies. Music is a big one for me.
Music is huge. Yeah. Music, movies, books, lines from movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. The other day,
I've learned the lyrics to so many classic rock songs because I didn't know them before, but I'm like, it sounds like that song, and it's a different line from it that I didn't know, and then I have to look it up later, and I'm like, oh, makes sense now. Yeah.
Thank you, Ward. Thank you.
Sometimes they even bring you a movie and a song at the same time, which is kind of fun.
We appreciate it, Mort. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. All right. So, what do you guys have coming up on your radar, Tammy?
Oh goodness. I don't even know where to start. Yeah. September's busy. May have a teaser for a pilot out soon. Not sure. I'm hearing. Yeah. Have some investigations coming up. We'll be at the Pumpkin Theater in September. So those will be things that you can, if you're on my Medium page, Tammy Christine Medium, or Afterlife Paranormal Investigations of Oklahoma, you can check us out and we post live feeds from there. Of course, Warren, we're always busy with Warren Legacy Foundation as volunteers. All three of us are always very busy with that. So just a lot of busy stuff, readings and investigations, and
That's awesome.
hopefully fun and a lot of work, and I'll be tired in September. So
Yeah. And if any of you want to find Tammy, she is Tammy Christine Medium on Facebook. So, she is a fantastic medium, and I cannot say
sweet.
that enough. So absolutely go visit, go like her page, go do it. So, what about you, Dana? I know you're working on honing your paranormal mediumship skills.
Yeah, I'm taking a course right now, mediumship for paranormal investigation, with my mentor, and I'm actually going to be studying with another one of my mentors in September. I just signed up for the class. I'm going to be taking another 8-week course after that one ends. And that one's just to dive deeper into just getting more and more detail when I'm giving readings, just one-on-one for people, because I've been wrapped up in paranormal investigation for so long. I feel like, oh no, now I'm nervous to do my one-on-one reading. So I'm like, yeah, I want to get more detailed and get, just really dive into that evidence and, find those, I don't know, just really, really, connect. And I will be, I guess if you want to reach me, yeah, you have to get written permission from Joe Frankie. So WarrenLegacyFoundation.com, Joe Frankie. And then if you need help with any spider demons, attention, Jeff.
Jeff,
the Green Swamp Medium.
Green Swamp Medium.
Green Swamp Medium.
Spider demons only.
Uh-oh, Jeff, look out.
Oh, well, thank you, everybody. You can find me on my Facebook page, Jennifer Rose, Intuitive Medium. I've got a couple of things coming up. I'm doing a live gallery reading Friday night. If you are in the Northern Virginia area, it will be at the Lotus and Light Metaphysical Center at 7 p.m. And then September 23rd, I am teaching a class on Zoom on auras and how to read them. And those tickets are available on Eventbrite. There is an event page on Facebook. Again, you can find that through my page. And I've got a lot of stuff. I'm going to be doing a lot of live shows coming up in October, November timeframe, and all the way through December. So it's going to be a little busy, but I'm excited, and I'm going to have a great time. So, and I love doing these, and I'll be back again next month, and we'll figure out a topic for that. And these lovely ladies were wonderful for being here. And Tammy, 2 months in a row. Thank you, my love. I appreciate that. Dana, hope to get you back soon too. So yeah.
I have to remind you, you promised the Green Swamp Medium that he'd be on for the full hour next time.
Oh, that's right. He's actually going to host for next month. He'll be hosting Pop-Up Live for September.
Make room on your calendar.
Special guest host, the Green Swamp Medium. Full hour. Full hour. All right, guys. Look. He'll be available.
Me too.
Perfect. I'm going to hit you up, Jeff. Awesome. Thank you, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and I will see you all soon. Take care. Mwah.
everybody.
Love you.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks. Bye bye.